So what do you guys think about the endings? I just randomly. I just randomly came up with that shit. Thought that was fucking hilarious. Anyways, you know, we're 50 minutes in. We should probably start the video. It's a short video, so we'll go through it.
The first draft is 50,000 words or 250,000 words. Turning that into a cohesive story is a bit of a daunting task. But the developmental edit is such a crucial stage that it can really make or break your book. So, in developmental editing, we are looking to fix large-scale issues with the story, such as things concerning plot holes, character development, and overall structural issues. There's a lot to consider in terms of what to change and how, especially if you're unsure where to start. Here's a breakdown of my basic developmental editing process, as well as some tips that I have found to not only make the process easier to digest, but also speed it along. Every writer has their own editing process, and every book has its individual editing needs. So, while most books probably don't need edits in all of these areas, this is just
I did,
what
Smokey.
I like to assess
You missed
when
it.
I'm planning my edits. Typically,
That's why I was coughing.
Large-scale concepts that pull through from the beginning all the way to the end of the book. Overall, at this stage, I want to make sure the story is cohesive. So I do this by straightening out anything that's confusing and tying up the loose ends. So when it comes to characters, I'm looking mainly at the character development. So I want to make sure this is moving in the right direction and changing as I intended from chapter to chapter. Do the subtle shifts in the character's mindset throughout the story ultimately lead to their big breakthrough at the end of the story? And is this done in a way that the reader Are the characters all well-rounded and written believably?
Shout out to Smokey. Hell yeah. Everyone go follow Smokey. Are you streaming now, Smokey? You better start streaming, motherfucker. I really want
to make sure that each scene or chapter is told through the right character's perspective. So is it told through the eyes of the character who the events of that particular scene or chapter have the most impact on? Are the character's choices and reactions to things believable and consistent with their personalities? And do these emotional changes resonate?
So I don't think this is any new information, guys.
Come through as intended. Just
and if it's too quiet, let me know.
Don't get lost or buried underneath.
You're sexy too. True, Smokey.
Didn't quite pan out
I believe it.
And the themes themselves, are they well balanced? Are they meaningful and impactful to the story and characters, without being too heavy-handed that the reader is distracted by them? Speaking of story, this is the largest area of focus for developmental edits. Personally, what I focus on most is how the story works together as a whole. As you're drafting, you're typically kind of looking at the story chapter by chapter or scene by scene, but it's really helpful to kind of take a step back after finishing the draft and look at it again, almost as if you're outlining.
Say Kamochi, you made.
Does each chapter have good momentum, and does the story move forward in some meaningful way?
If I did, I'd appreciate if you'd spam my TTS with "and." True, Smokey, I can repay the favor. I just had a dream that was so ridiculous I had to write down the idea to eventually write a story with it. It's too bizarre. That is amazing, Raymond Dow. Turning dreams into stories is fucking amazing.
Of course, not every scene needs to have a major plot twist, but each scene or chapter should contribute to either the character development, the plot, or the theme in some meaningful way. If not, it might need heavier edits or to be scrapped altogether. So if you're looking at the story from kind of a bird's eye view, does it have a good flow
It's
overall?
the idea of like not being able to see the trees from the forest, right? And it's like the same thing as like snow blindness as well. Bunch of different ways to say it, but the idea is that, and like for me, the main thing is like the things that are obvious. It's how do you say this? Like, I guess the best way to say it would be like the types of trees in the forest. So you see all the trees in the forest, but are you thinking, oh, this is a maple, so I should say that's a maple. Oh, that's a pine, so maybe I should say that's a pine. Oh, that's actually a bush, so maybe we should say that's a bush. Oh, those are flowers, you know.
Snow blindness is when you do so much cocaine you go blind, right?
Maybe, Levi. I don't know. Wait, does coke make you go blind? It's rare, but yes, cocaine can cause blindness with excessive use. Damn, I guess because it's like frying the nerves, like inside, like literally like inside here, so it's frying the nerves to your eyes. That's fucked, dude. Don't do coke, guys. Don't do fucking coke. Don't know any crackheads who take it. Wait, you don't know any crackheads who do coke? We need to bring back coke. Drugs used to be classy. What are they, just like meth, heroin, fentanyl, any kind of opioids, maybe prescription pills, something like that. Guys, you know who I really miss, and I want to just make a shout out to, and wish him very, very, very well for whatever he's doing, is Eggy. I miss Eggy. Guys, I miss Eggy. So, shout out to Eggy. If you're out there, Eggy, if you ever see this, I fucking love you, bro. Keep up the good work. I believe in you. Fuck yeah, bro. But yeah, it's cause cocaine is like an expensive drug, right? So it's like high class people use cocaine.
Say Kimochi Yamate Kudasai.
Kimochi Yamate Kudasai. No, my voice is too fucked to do that.
So are questions brought up and then answered throughout the story in a way that is engaging to the readers? Are the highs and lows of the story, the characters' high moments and low moments, in good balance with each other? And are they in accordance to the book's overall tone? Do the characters' successes and failures have a good rhythm throughout the story? Smaller story arcs within a novel, sometimes called sequences, take place over a handful of chapters.
Yeah.
So do those as sort of contained stories have good momentum as well?
Remember, if there isn't 4 or 5 or 6 reasons why things are happening in the story, you need to get good. Because, like, anytime I look at any point in the story, and I go, okay, well, let's just throw this random idea, or, like, you know, this random concept to structure the ideas, and it's like, oh, well, there's this, and then there's that, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then there's this, and then there's that, and, oh, can't forget that, or that, with that. And that's just, like, me testing how in-depth and concrete the world building in my head is. But translating that to paper has always been our biggest problem. Especially, like, following the outline. And like I said, like, the whole point of this Do Art chapter is to follow, like, I've failed if I don't follow the character profile. So we're
https://youtube.be/resis
I'm pretty sure I recognize that as the
C0mlxbgw_geeksy8k.
That's the same link, isn't it? To the fucking the dance. Yeah, no. Nope. Where do you get this shit, Zoink? I would send a link that would smash your PC.
Say it.
Are the characters resolving issues and conflicts and moving through the story in a way that raises the stakes for the main overarching plot? Does each big question that's answered either bring up more questions, drive the story
Say it
forward,
now.
or somehow raise the stakes for the
True.
story as a whole? A story
Yes.
with poor pacing can either really quickly lose momentum or give the readers whiplash. And even the most important scenes can lose their impact. So consider if any sections of the story
Say
drag on and don't make much progress, or if there are areas that are lacking
https://youtube.be/resis_sw
A lot of the times, I end up needing to expand on action or fight scenes,
C0mlxbgw_geeksy8k.
as well as scenes or
We're
chapters
trying to
that
watch a
focus on
video here,
reaction.
dude! Zoink! Seriously. When I'm writing, it's completely fine, but we're trying to do fucking react here, bro. Just chill the fuck out. It's 8 goddamn minutes! And it shouldn't be very long because this isn't new information. So unless something new really comes up, or I think of something to talk about with it, this video is pretty mute overall. Like, it's a good video. It's got great points in it. It even talks differently than the other one, so it gives extra insight on things. But, well, yeah, because we're trying to find something different. Like I said, after not having it, having text on the screen as like notes to copy out is so helpful. That's why I have the subtitles on, so I can just copy straight from the subtitles like we were doing yesterday. I was making a pun, Levi, because of the fact that I usually pause most videos for a significant amount of time while I'm like talking about other stuff, right?
PLS Oshed.
Listening for a nugget of info you didn't find earlier. Exactly, or like a structure to the video to indicate that more videos from this channel will be helpful to my endeavors, right? And I kind of hate just like watching the entirety of the video, but it's like we're just trying to find new creators. So some of them are going to be a little off with it, right? And that's how it's been like the last like 3 or 4 days.
To or reflect on some of the more recent plot twists. Consider if there are any areas where elements such as world building or characters' backstories are not contributing to the plot or character development. Sometimes I add these kind of elements intending to use them.
See, this was how in Cryogen, see, here's a point that I can talk about. This is like in Cryogen where during the AI edit got rid of like 5,000 words. Actually, it was like 6,000 words out of the 10,000 word story. And like most of that was world building. And I was like, does it need it? No. You don't really like knowing how the stock market works with different ideas and stuff like that doesn't really like, the only thing that it does is if you understand it well enough, you could say the reason for the escalation of his profits over time is actually because of the idea that the idea of the Stargate is the currency value itself. So it's not just you're gaining more dollar value, as in, like, you went from $10 to $100. You're also scaling the exchange
my
rate
new Discord,
for that idea.
https://discord.com/invite/u7qt5f53.
Wait, did you just invite me to a Discord server that you said you don't have Discord for, bro? I don't understand. I don't understand, Zoink! It says it's invalid invite. You're a shit. It's just a little
My
shit
Discord
sitting
severed.
there. Yeah, it didn't work, bro. Why is my invite invalid? I think he doesn't know how Discord works. Neither do I. So that's okay, Levi. But yeah, so the reason for the explanation for the idea of the stock market and how currency worked was just world building for an overall changing of how currency works and explaining why it's so important, why Jervik is getting the quantum entanglement AI to all of the outer stations, which comes up later in the fact of that's what like promotes him and pushes him to the top, is all these outer stations basically giving him the like extra points and shit like that, whatever you want to call it. But the scaling, so you go from a $10 value to a $100 value, but you also go from the exchange rate value of that currency also increases. So your $100 is now actually worth $1,000. So that's how he just and that's why he's like gaining so much money and he's like crazy over it. But it's supposed to be a very subtle thing that only somebody who understands the nuances of like compound interest and how scaling with different currency methods and using different currency exchange rates to increase the overall profiting of trading, right? If something is heavy that you can't pick up, then does that mean your bone is weak? No, Zoin, that means your muscles are weak. If you pick something up and your arm breaks, that means your bone is weak. But you would have to actually pick something up, right? Or you would have to, like, exert the effort. So either, yes, it's too heavy, but I don't...
My bone broke.
I don't know if you could physically break your own bone trying to pick something up. Feels like the only way you could do that is with really bad technique. And it feels like you would, like, tear your shoulder out or something before you broke, or, like, fucked up your elbow. You think you can, Raymond? I mean, I'm trying to just imagine you, like, trying to pick up a rock. Like, I'm trying to imagine myself picking up some, like, I've worked out, right? I used to work out all the time. And I worked out with, like, my friend. And my friend's a lot bigger than me. So, you know, I could bench, like, 180, but he could bench, like, 260, 280. So it's like me just trying to pick up that barbell. It's like, how much effort would you have to put into something to break a bone? Someone with brittle bone disease might be able to, but the force is usually parallel to the bone, which is the direction is stronger. Yeah, I'm like, maybe if you're like this, and you're trying to, like, I'm imagining, like, putting your arms around a telephone pole, and, like, trying to, or like a stop sign, and trying to, like, pull a stop sign out of the ground. And I'm like, how would you fucking break your arm or a bone doing that other than, like, breaking a finger or, like, fucking up your elbow or your shoulders? Same like picking up something like this. Like, how are you, like, unless you've picked it up a little bit and then, like, it jars and, like, rattles, but I just don't see it. But yeah, Cute Muffin. Used to. I don't play much Infinite Craft, and I don't even know what Hatake Kakashi is. Kakashi, that's why I don't. Kakashi is from Naruto. Zoink is, Cute Muffin. Do you think that Zoink is annoying? Sorry, Zoink. I just gotta call you out on this with someone else, because I think you're annoying. I mean, that's okay. I'm annoying. There's nothing wrong with being annoying. I just have to call you out on being annoying. Right? So, Muffin, what do you think? Is he annoying? Like there's one thing, like, look at Callie. Callie will be like this.
Woof 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 woof.
And then he'll say a bunch of random shit. It's like, that's not annoying. That's like, just, you know, he's being like, hey, look at me, hey, look at me. Which is completely fine. But Zoin, you're not like, hey, look at me. You're like, poke, hey, do this. Hey, do this. I'm gonna interrupt you so you do this. It's like there's a complete difference between, you know, poking someone and being like, hey, look at me. It's okay to be like, hey, look at me. I'm over here. But don't be like, hey, do this. Hey, do that. It's fucking annoying. I've been streaming for 6 hours. A lot of people are annoying to me. Zoinko isn't exactly on the podium. Okay, I guess that's true, Cute Muffin. I don't find anyone else annoying. I just find it annoying that he keeps, like, and it's not like he asks me to do something, okay, I do it. And then I'm done with it, and then he keeps asking me to do it more and more and more.
TTS woof 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 woof. TTS woof 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 woof.
See, I mean, this is kind of funny, right? Like, this is kind of funny, bro. Like, this is what I mean. This is the annoying I like. This is funny.
Woof 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 woof.
See, then you can get more people doing it. See, this is what we want, Zoink. This is what the vibe of the stream is all about. Getting fucked up and derailed in every way possible with the most ridiculous shit possible. But it's just, stop asking me to do stuff and just do stuff yourself. You can ask chat to do stuff, but like posting in links, especially in TTS, is like, oh my god.
Woof 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 bark 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 woof. 698 sesquigentillion 745 quinquevigentillion 290 quaduorvigentillion 876 tresvigentillion 589 duovigentillion 278 unvigentillion
I mean, that's fairly Vi. You get to a certain point.
425 novemdecillion 890 octodecillion 473 septendecillion 289 sexdecillion 654 quindecillion 826 quaduordecillion 258 tridecillion Chiramoya. Amon.
True. Okay.
852 plus 6506 7952. Woof 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 bark 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 woof.
I wonder if there's an individual way to ban someone from TTS, because Slake's on his way to being banned from TTS, and I've never even considered that with Smokey. So, Smokey, if you're there, don't
hey, look
feel
what I
like
found.
not
Climb
just
Gwingith Gagareth Wendrobeth Linticilia go.co.uk. It's a domain.
Wait, what?
I-H-H-H-A.
I'm like, I probably shouldn't have brought that up on stream, but okay. Longest valid internet domain name in the world. Longest platform ticket in the world. Llanfairploa is an actual place. This is an actual place in Wales. Damn. That is interesting there, Muffin. Beezus, what did I miss this time? You missed us.
Fucking is a place.
Do you know fucking is a place? Fuck! I fucked that up. I'm so bad at this, guys.
Did you know a kid on Xbox got banned for putting his location as Fort Gay? Microsoft had to publicly apologize to the mayor of Fort Gay. Mayor
of Fort Gay. Yeah. Fucking, I wonder if I can bring it up.
Fortnite is Fort Gay.
In 2010, Microsoft issued an apology to the town of Fort Gay, West Virginia, after a resident was banned from Xbox Live for stating he lived there. Xbox Live's code of conduct initially deemed Fort Gay as offensive, leading to the suspension. Microsoft later clarified its policy to allow terms like gay and lesbian in profiles and gamer tags, while prohibiting their use for insults or harassment.
Actually,
yeah, because they thought it was,
wet.
you know...
It gets wet like mom. Did you know the reason the moon rings like a bell is HTE low moisture? Do you know fucking is a place? Water stops the vibrations.
That's why people thought the moon was hollow, because it vibrated like a bell. But it's because there was no water to absorb any of the shock between all of the regolith on the planet, or on the moon. The celestial body. You didn't know that, Cute Muffin? Did you also know it's very strange, but the water content on the side of the moon that faces the sun is actually higher by a significant margin than the water content on the far side of the moon? And scientists don't actually know why?
Do you know human needs only one thing to live is Aaliyah from Aaliyah hides her feelings in Russian?
I mean, I could see that. It's a coincidence. Huh? Yeah, rocks actually... Because rocks have pores inside of them. Water's heavy, and tidal locking has to do with mass distribution. That's their guess, Levi, is that because of the Earth's gravity, it's dragging all of the water onto that side of the planet. And despite that, or the moon, it's still being facing the sun. It's still a significant amount more water, like per gram, than the far side of the moon. But that may also mean
in Russian smash or pass why.
True. The second reason is also because this side of the moon is warmer, so ice residue that's like deeper underground that you wouldn't necessarily be able to detect. It's like, let's say, miles deep into the rock of the moon, right? Is ice, whereas on the side that faces the sun, it's liquid, so it's being drawn closer and closer to the surface and evaporating. So it's like slowly over time the moon is losing its water from the one side of the facing the moon, or facing the sun. But again, they don't have like actual like proof of this. These are just like speculations. It's like experiments that they're doing currently. It's like one of the biggest new things that they're trying to figure out with the moon is how the water distribution is, because that's a huge thing with like mining, right? If you're trying to mine on the far side of the moon, that's a completely different story than trying to mine water on the front side of the moon, right? So you have to design scenarios completely different for each one. But I love science and space and shit like that, so, you know, that's where I kind of go. That's why I'm like the crystalline tree and everything like that. It's like, it's such a extravagant, like, space-faring almost kind of, you know, pushing fantasy to almost the edge of sci-fi. But just for, like, the spectacle of the, like, outside of a planet and moving into, like, a solar system and then galaxies and, like, you know, celestial beings outside of that. But anyways, guys, I think we've had a really long tangent.
But
so let's get back to the video. If I wasn't so prone to being motion sick, I'd be so interested in going to space. Yeah, I mean, maybe when I'm older and, you know, you can go to space. You can go to space, like, as a tourist. I mean, maybe that'd be interesting. But yeah, no, I'm like, I have the worst luck. I would literally, like, I'd be like Final Destination, and, like, I just show up and I just get fucked. Zoink, I don't know what you're talking about. You've said it like 12 times, bro. Just calm down. Just
Crash Bandicoot from Crash Bandicoot Smash or Pass. Why can't you phone the right person in China? There's so many wands and wings, it's too easy to wing the Wong one.
Deep fried Elvis Presley! Welcome, good sir. I fucking love it. That is some good shit right there, good sir.
and therefore
Aaliyah
need
from
to be
Aaliyah
written.
hides
And
her
does each
feelings
chapter
in
have
Russian
a good
smash or
structure?
pass.
Does it have a good balance of action, dialogue,
Zoink, if you do it again, I'm gonna time you out for 10 minutes,
the
bro.
other big element in
I'm sorry, man.
editing is
I don't know what you're talking about.
Consistency across the book. Are all of the world building rules
Jesus.
and logic consistent throughout the story? And are there any unintended discrepancies with things like backstories, locations, timelines, or events? Knowing what to look for is a
Zoink.
key part of getting your developmental edit in place. But so is having a good strategy for actually identifying issues. It can be tricky to shift from the chapter-by-chapter mindset that's needed for drafting into more of a bird's-eye view mindset of looking at the story for
That's why we do
developmental
short
edit. So
stories.
for me, keeping my outline up to date is a huge part of my developmental editing process.
Cute Muffin to
Yeah, that's what I figured, Presley. That's
to the stream.
Oh shit, Muffin, thank you for the raid. That's the second raid today, guys. We got a raid from Baba Yaga, and we got a raid from this.
Be there.
Emma Richard 9. Hi, Goat. True. Welcome. How are you? Welcome to the stream. We are slowly but surely getting through this video. And yeah, see, I didn't want to search it because it sounded like porn, and I don't want porn on this fucking PC. So, Zoink, stop posting things that link to porn, or I'm gonna have to ban you, bro. That's a TOS thing. You can't do that, bro. You got one more chance, bro. You do it again, I'm timing you out.
I heard you the first time.
True. But thank you so much, Muffin, for the stream.
Lady, no! Mom! I'm calling dog!
It's just like Zoink, like 12 times in a row, interrupting us while we're watching this react, has asked me about, do I like this character from this hentai? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Just drop it. And he just wouldn't leave it alone. Yeah. Some of them not clicking on my PC.
I personally like to organize by scene and not by chapter. And I just like to have about a 3-sentence description of all the most important elements of a scene. So these are going to be things like big turning points in the
It's categorized as shonen by the look of it. I don't know, it sounds really bad.
plot, character development moments, or clues that they found if they're trying to solve some kind of problem. This is also a great time to create a definitive story Bible if you don't have one already.
And it's like he's also asking me if I find the character attractive. And I'm like, dude, if it's an animated character, like, there's no real value in a statement like that, right? Anyway, the answer is pass because the character is a high school student. Well, there you go. That's easy enough, Levi.
This is a document detailing important
Underage, asking me smash or pass for an underage character. Jesus Christ, Zoink.
building. So you might have the basic
Get me
descriptions
fucking
of the
banned.
characters. So you can't remember if this one side character has green eyes or blue eyes. You have a place that you know is the correct information, and you don't have to go searching through your draft for it. If you've recently finished your draft and you have a really good idea on your story's main issues, you can probably jump right into planning and then editing. But sometimes a full or partial reread makes all the difference when it comes to planning your edits.
That's why we haven't touched chapter 1 since, like, November. We all know the answer for this lady, though. Hey, yo! True Elvis.
Make notes
True Elvis.
Changes. And I do this for both line editing and developmental editing at the same time. So if I'm looking at a scene and I know I need to change a choice that the character makes for the developmental edit, but I also notice there's a section that could be rewritten better, I will note that as well for my next round of editing, which is the line edit. This is a huge time saver when it comes to editing. Sometimes through multiple rounds of editing...
She got too much of a church girl vibe for me. But Beezus, that's how you know she's down and dirty. Those church-faring chicks, man, they're fucking the nasty chicks.
It can become unclear where the issues are in your story.
They're hiding it
if you note them
inside.
early, then you can reference your own notes and actually see...
They are always the most dramatic. Oh, I guess, demonic. Yeah, demon on the sheets. True, Ray.
things for what they are. When it comes to critique partners or writing groups, I personally do my developmental edit before anybody else reads my story. But of course, your process may be different. If you know there are major things that you want to change with the story, this probably makes sense for you. But if you're not sure what needs
If I
improvement,
wanted a demon, I'd go pick up a crack fiend off the streets.
or you're really confident that the story doesn't need much improvement, you might get more out of critique partners and writing groups by sending the story to them earlier in the process. Before
Probably
making
suck a
major
golf ball through a
changes to
golf
story, I'd like
hose
to
pipe. It's a golf ball through a garden hose. You could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. That's the saying.
plan and write it
At
down.
least that's the saying from where I am.
This makes it 1, easier to stay on track, and 2, easier to track my progress. Sometimes during the developmental edit, it can be tempting to make changes to smaller details of the story. I might be
True.
editing something for consistency.
You speaking from a talks? Of course I can do that. I play golf, and I can suck dick.
But then notice a few paragraphs that could be rewritten better. Working on this at this stage will typically slow down my progress. I don't want to be worrying about small details when there are still large overarching issues that need to be addressed in the story. I find it really helpful to keep a list of needed changes.
Just like Donald Trump. Which is so funny because of the commentary right there that we're going to be doing later on because of what Pakistan said, not Palestine. Pakistan.
And stick to making only those changes during the developmental
True
edit.
Renaissance
so don't
man.
worry too much about your
Indeed.
prose at this stage. During developmental editing, the phrases
Remember, there are two types of people. People that follow trends and people that create trends. And we're trying to be the guy who creates trends.
"it doesn't have to be pretty" and "it's gonna get worse before it can get better" are kind of the mantra. Not to say that
I love following trends. True. True.
I'm trying to write poorly during the developmental edit, but it just keeps you out of that line editing mentality where you're worrying about exactly where the comma should go. And I'm always curious to know how many different rounds of editing most writers do on a typical novel, so drop me a comment down below. And if you like fantasy adventure novels with sarcasm and monster hunting, you should check out Revenge of the Druid Queen, which is my most recently published.
30?
Alright, that's all I got for you, so thanks for watching. Bye!
Alright, well, I mean, there wasn't really any new information. I don't know, I'll have to go through her channel and check out more things. The video itself was really decent.